Hey, check this out. These beautiful Chile Rellenos. All three of these filled with cheese and then fried up with a beautiful batter. This one with a fluffy souffle batter, this one with a crunchy batter, and this one over here with another fluffy batter but a different technique. Tell you what, take a look at this show. You're going to find 3 different ways to do these Chile Rellenos and really make a fabulous dish. Well, hello! Welcome back to Texas Cooking Today. On this episode of Texas Cooking Today, we're going to be making Chile Rellenos. Now, Chile Rellenos are a wonderful, wonderful tasting dish. What this is just simply a stuffed chili. And you can fill them with all kinds of stuff. Meat, vegetables, cheese, whatever you want to put in there, you can put into a Chile Relleno. And, well, the permutations are thousands. Okay, there's thousands of different ways of stuffing these wonderful peppers. What I'm going to do is show you just a simple cheese Chile Relleno. From there, if you want to put meat in it and other stuff, that's really easy to do. And I'll talk to you about how to do that also. I want to show you 2 different battering methods. One which is a common battering method in Mexico. It's a fluffy, light souffle batter. The other is a common battering method in Texas, and it leaves a crunchy batter. And then I'm also going to show you a 3rd battering technique that leaves you with a light, fluffy batter, but it's a little easier to make than the common souffle batter. So, come over this way. Let me show you what we have to work with, and we're going to make some magnificent Chile Rellenos. Now let's get right on to what ingredients that I have here. Before we get on to that though, I wanted to mention ancho. This is a dried out poblano. These can be stuffed also. When I said there's a lot of different kinds of stuffed chilies, everything from dried chilies that are rehydrated and stuffed to fresh chilies, and you can use different kinds of chilies too. You can use the banana chilies, you can use like the long chilaca chilies. They're a little harder to work with, some of them, but they still will work out. A lot of people stuff jalapenos. That's just another type of stuffed chili, okay, or Chile Relleno. Now, other ingredients that we're going to use, this is a poblano, and if you'll notice there's different sizes. Small ones, this is about average, and some of them get absolutely enormous, okay? So these, once they're filled, are a hearty meal, that's for sure. Be careful which ones you pick out. You don't want to get one too big for you. We're going to be working with the smaller ones. They have a nice stem on them, and that stem makes them easy to work with. Now, also, I have some milk, eggs, cheese, and flour. And in different combinations of these milk, eggs, and flour, we're going to achieve different batters. One's going to be a souffle batter, no milk in it. Another one is going to be a dry batter that makes a crunchy crust, and in that one we're going to have some milk in it. And the third one is going to be a combination of all 3 of these ingredients as well. Now, I'm using Monterey Jack cheese back here. I've got a pepper jack. You can use whatever kind of cheese you would like. Any kind of cheese. That's the beauty of this dish. You can make it as versatile as you'd like. Put whatever suits your fancy inside of these. Now, for this show though, we're going to use cheese, and that way I thought a nice crumbly ingredient like this that might have a tendency to fall out. Once you've seen that worked with, you might feel a little more comfortable trying this dish. So, let's get right on to taking care of these poblanos and getting them ready to be stuffed. Now, it is time for us to process these chilies, and what we want to start with is burning off this skin. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. I'm going to do mine right on top of this burner. Full heat. You can use also a gas grill for this. Works really, really well. Let me explain to you the difference between a regular torch and a kitchen torch is where you store it, okay? It's the same thing. Just go to a hardware store. You don't have to go to a kitchen shop and spend a lot of money for an expensive one. Just go to the hardware store and get a standard propane torch. That's all you're ever going to need in the kitchen. Now, I'm going to touch these up with the torch in a moment. There we go. Now all I have to do is take these to my sink, wash off that outer skin, and we're ready to move right on to the next step. Now let's give these chilies a quick rinse. And before I turn on the water, which makes it rather noisy and kind of overtakes the volume on the microphone, what I want to do with these chilies when I'm washing them, I want to push my finger in the side and pull down right on one of these ridges is usually best. And that makes a little slit in it. Up inside there's a little dome right at the top here, and that's the seed pod. All you have to do is just reach your fingers in around it, about 4 fingers, or 3 fingers on the thumb. Reach them up in there and just pinch it, and those seeds will pop right off of there. So very, very simple when it comes to cleaning one of these up and prepping one. We want to use cold water. Gently rub this. Remember, at this point they're kind of soft, but they still firm enough to hold their shape and to hold ingredients, but not so firm that they'll tear easily when they are opened up. So slit. Now, as I mentioned, in the top you have that seed pod. Reach your fingers up in there and just pinch. See there, once I pinched it, everything just popped right off in my hand and then pull back. There's my seeds. There's a few left up in there sometimes. Just give them a quick rinse. At this point, you want to go ahead and get you a frying pan ready, and if you want, you can use a deep fat fryer. That works really good for this, especially for the ones that are the light fluffy batter. This is the souffle batter that we're doing first. If you're doing the crunchy batter, you can use about half this much oil. I have in this right now a little over 1.5 inches deep of oil, and I recommend 1.5 to 2 inch deep. Works really well. The idea is we want that souffle batter to just kind of float in there. I don't want it to sit in the bottom of it and get more brown on one part than another. So this helps to even out that browning some. So we want to do this and just leave that on a low flame as it slowly heats. And while that is slowly heating, we're going to turn our attention to our egg whites and get those ready for this wonderful souffle batter. When we're making a souffle batter, what we do is first take our eggs and separate them, the yolk from the white. I'm about to show you how to do that. Now, when we separate that yolk from the whites, we're going to put all of the egg whites into a large bowl and beat my egg. Now, simple enough. I want to crack open this shell. Now, I'm going to turn one end straight up, just like I did there. This is the first method I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a couple of different methods here. What I'll have to do is just pass that yolk from one side to the other. Every once in a while you'll break a yolk this way, but not often. Now I'm just going to set my yolk to the side. Now I did break it, but it's of no consequence. It's not in the white. I just want to make sure that my yolks. So I kept aside. Right over here to our mixer, I'm going to place our 4 whites. I think I'm losing it here. And we'll start this on a low speed at first because I don't want it to splatter on me. In a little bit I'm going to speed it up dramatically. We're saving those yolks because we're going to use them. And I have here 1/2 of a cup of flour. The 1/2 cup of flour and the yolks are going to be folded in after we make stiff peaks out of the white. And I'm going to use this whisk at that point. Okay, I believe that I have them right where I want them. Let me pull this off. Now, to check and see if I've got stiff peaks, what I'm going to do is just pull up. You see that little peak down in the bottom there? A little point? And the ones I have here, they're stiff, staying straight up, and they're stiff. Okay, that's stiff peaks. Now, first thing I want to do is to start working in my egg yolk. And I'm just going to pour some of this in here like so. Out. And I want to very gently just fold those in. Okay? I'm not looking to beat this hard anymore. I'm looking to make it a little softer and moister now. Now, put in my flour. Now I have here my chilies, my filling, and my batter, and also we have down here our oil, which is still in the process of heating. Right at the moment it's just passing 175 degrees. I've increased the temperature on it so that we can get it heated up. I'm looking to bring that up to about 325 degrees. 300 to 325 is just perfect on this dish. Now, over here, on these chilies, very simple. We want to take our chili, lay it open, take some of the cheese that we have, and just start filling. And like I said, if you have other fillings, go ahead and put them in there. Like if you want ground beef, that's fine. Now make sure that you don't put raw ground beef into this. You can't do that. You have to cook your meats first, alright? And because what we're doing here when we cook this in this oil, we're not cooking the filling so much. In the case of cheese, I'm wanting to melt the cheese, but I'm not looking to do anything to it for other than that. So when it comes to those meat fillings, you're going to want those things already cooked. Vegetables, depending on the vegetable, you know, and how firm that vegetable is, you might want to go ahead and pre-cook that vegetable a little bit, or par-cook it, they say. But in a lot of cases, you can just go ahead and put them in there, and it's not generally a problem. Now, what I'm doing here is just kind of pressing this close, and what I want to do is kind of make all of that cheese in there firm, and that way I can pick it up like this, and if I can pick it up and everything doesn't fall out, I pressed it down just nice, and it'll hold together as I batter it and drop it down into my oil. My oil has now come up over 300 degrees. So what we need to do is to get our chili, drop him right down into this souffle batter. And what I want to do is just work it around until it's coated all the way around thoroughly. And I want to be liberal with this. As much so as absolutely possible, that is. There we go. Now, with a nice liberal coating on it, that's the way we want it to drop down into our oil. And just lay it right down in there. And we're going to let it cook until it's beautiful and golden, and I'm going to roll it part of the way through its cooking. And notice I go ahead and roll it over, and that is to help set that batter on both sides. Now all I have to do is finish cooking it until it's a beautiful golden on both sides. Now while I'm doing that, as I mentioned, I wanted to show you guys multiple battering techniques. So, eggs, again, and a bowl to crack them into. And in this case, I just want to use the whole egg, alright? This technique is done throughout Texas. It's a common technique, and it is used because it is just very simple, and it's common to Tex-Mex cooking. Not so much Mexican. Mexican cooking, well, that's what we got going on right in there. That's the common Mexican Chile Relleno. What we're about to do here is the very common Tex-Mex Chile Relleno. And then the third one I'll be showing you will be a good cross hatch between those two. Now, for this, of course, we want to beat those eggs, and here's where we have our milk. I'm not going to use all that milk, by the way. That's more than we need. Beat those. There we go. I want to place about an equal amount of milk in there. That looked like about 3/4 cup of eggs once I beat it up. Of equal proportion egg to milk. Now the other portion to this batter is right here. It's in the flour. So what I put in there is about 1.5 cups of flour. For a single Chile Relleno, that's probably more than we need. That would do a couple of them. And again, we'll stuff our little pepper. Now the next thing I want to do, very gently, I have to turn this guy. Hopefully without rupturing. Sometimes it helps to use 2 of these. Back over here. On this technique, I want to flour my chili first. So I just put it in there and gently roll it in that flour. If I get a little bit of flour down in the cheese, that doesn't hurt a thing. Drop it into the egg mixture. Back in your flour. Again, coating it thoroughly all the way around. And this is a double dip thing. Back in the egg. And back in that flour. Okay. Now at this point, I'm ready to take this little gem, drop it right down in there. You notice that kicks up just a little more. Now, the crunchy one is what we're cooking right now. The light and fluffy one is what's coming out right now. This little gem. That's the soufflé batter. How beautiful. Look how that's nice and puffy and well shaped. Now this other type where we do more like a dry batter on that. Comes out quite crunchy. Now, third battering technique. This is where it kind of gets a little easier for me. What we did earlier, our 3 eggs and our milk. All I want to do now, take my whisk, place it back in here. I think I have a little bit of poblano skin right there. There we go. Now, I want to gently shake some of this flour down, beat it in. I'm just going to keep doing this until I form a nice, firm batter. You want it to be about like pancake batter. Just kind of got to keep adding that flour until you get a nice, thick, heavy batter. This is still thin and runny. And now I'm going to rescue it. Okay, this is nice, crunchy, Tex-Mex style Chile Relleno. Okay? In another handful of flour. I'm just pulling that out from my flour bag. Okay. Now on this, simple enough. Just like our soufflé batter, I want to batter this guy all the way around. I'm getting my hand right down in it and messy, and that's all right. My cheese started coming out. Take that, go right in there. Lost a little cheese. That won't be a problem. Little things like that just happen. So we have our 3 Chile Rellenos. Now all we have to do is plate them up and show them off. Well, there we have it. It's pretty simple when you have it kind of boiled down to the basics. It is a complex dish to make. You know, it's not just something that you're going to throw together like that at any time. This is something you really kind of need to think through first. Make sure you have everything ready beforehand and then jump into it. And if you're a little uncomfortable with it the first few times, well, you'll know exactly how I felt. So, what I want to do is show you these beautiful gems. Let me give you the close-up. Right there. Isn't that nice? Absolutely gorgeous Chile Rellenos. This is our soufflé batter, and then the crunchy batter, and then this one's just sort of in between those two, and it's more like a tempura batter, but it gets a little crisp on the outside, soft on the inside. Very unique. On each of these, let me just slice them open here. What I did to prepare these was to serve them up on a bed of green leaf lettuce with a tomato sauce. And that's very much traditional in the Mexican way of doing it. Not so much in Tex-Mex. There we go. Again, beautiful insides on those. Lovely cheese. I've given them just enough time to set up so it wouldn't run, but normally when they come out piping hot, that cheese will flow just a little bit out on the plate, and it adds to sort of the effect of the dish and the wonderful, man, taste of this. Wait. That's just plain delicious. The meat on the poblanos is still lightly firm, and the batters are just what they're supposed to be: fluffy, crunchy, and one in between the two. Cheesy. The flavor of the poblano just pops. It's not a hot dish. It doesn't make your mouth hot, but the flavors are just off the hook good. Please give this one a try, these beautiful Chile Rellenos. And thank you. Thank you for watching Texas Cooking Today. If you're a subscriber, thank you very much for subscribing. And if you haven't, you really need to. You're missing out on a lot. I have some great recipes for you. Well, you folks have a good day. Goodbye. Thank you for watching Texas Cooking Today, the show where you can get great recipes and the best techniques are taught. Please subscribe to Texas Cooking Today, where you will always find something hot and ready to eat. There we go. Now we can do the ending take. I forgot I was walking around naked.